goes a sight for my soul. There goes a sight, there goes a sight. Now there goes a sight for my soul. There goes a sight for my soul. There goes a sight, there goes a sight. There goes a sight for my soul. I think it's all angels just walk by. I think it's all angels just walk by. I think it's all angels just walk by. I think it's all angels just walk by.
What's up, everybody? Kier Gomes from 52 Wonders here, and welcome back. Today we are going to be taking a look at a deck of cards, and as well, I'm going to be teaching you a little something that you can start doing in your Magic routines right away. The deck that we're going to be reviewing today is the Shin Lim Nocs deck by Shin Lim, Alex Pandrea, and the Blue Crown. Before we get started, please do drop a like on the video and subscribe if you aren't already. Without further ado, let's go ahead and roll that intro and take a look at the cards.
Let's go.
Alright, so the Shin Lim Nocs deck. This deck is printed by the United States Playing Card Company on bicycle stock. It is the Blue Crown's first collaboration with Shin Lim to create his own custom Nocs deck. The front of the tuck case is done in completely matte black cardstock. It's not glossy, it's extremely matte black, which looks really cool. It's almost charcoal gray. In the bottom corner, you can see the red foil emboss where it says Shin Lim with his signature and Nocs right under it. The bottom of the tuck has some ad copy about the Blue Crown. There's nothing on either side of the deck, nothing on the back, and nothing on the top, and you do just get this metallic red seal. Very minimalistic tuck case, just like the Nocs. It's kind of a trend, and I have grown to really enjoy it. So let's crack open the box and take a look at the cards. All right, now just like all Nocs decks, you do get a solid colored back design. However, the big difference between this Nocs deck and most of the other ones is that outside of the solid colored back design, you do get a nice thin black border to outline it. So that looks really good for contrast. It also sets this deck apart from most Nocs decks. As well, it is not your standard bright red that you would see on a usual Nocs deck. It is a little bit darker. So this is almost the exact same red that you see on the product red deck by Theory 11, which was also a collaboration with Alex Pandrea. You are going to get two identical Jokers with this deck. It just says Joker in the corner and then has the Shin Lim SL logo in the middle. You do get a custom Ace of Spades. It just says Nocs in red, and then below it is a spade pip with a split down the middle and Shin Lim's signature printed just below it. The rest of the deck is completely bicycle standard. As you can see, there has been no customization whatsoever, which makes this deck perfect for Magic. Speaking of Magic, here's the gaff cards that you get included with this deck. You get a blank card, which is basically a standard for the Nocs decks. Almost every single Nocs deck comes with a blank card. And you get a King of Spades that fades into a blank card. So there is a magic effect that Shin Lim has and teaches on Alex Pandrea's YouTube channel. Now, contrary to most other Nocs decks, this deck is actually not marked. And that's okay. As I stated already, this deck is printed on USPCC's bicycle stock, so it is relatively thin. It feels just like a regular deck of Nocs. This deck does feel relatively smooth and relatively soft right out of the box. The fans contrast really well with this deck because of those black outlines on the card backs. And if you fan the cards for the indices, it looks about like that. Nice and standard. There's another fan for you. Looks good. I like that a lot. So let's talk about the handling. So in terms of handling with this deck, it feels just like any other USPCC bicycle deck. It spreads really well right out of the box. As you've already seen, it fans really well. In a spread, the cards look really nice because of the contrasting black, white, and red. Looks like the cards farrow from top to bottom, which would make them a modern cut, I think. The cards feel very flexible, very malleable, nice and easy to bend, easy to manipulate, which is good. And that is basically how these cards handle. So now that we've taken a look at the cards themselves, let's go ahead and put these cards to use and teach you guys how to do a plot in Magic that I think is very underused, but still so amazing, and it's something that you can work into pretty much any routine right away. And that is the Sloppy Shuffle Triumph. I'm gonna perform it for you, and then I will tell you what trick I use it with the most so you can kind of get an idea of how I use this slide in performance. Let's go. Okay, now the trick that I did in the trailer is Back in Time by Jay Sankey. I am not gonna teach the entire trick, but I will teach you one of the sleights used to make it so astonishing. All right, so in order to do this sleight, it can be completely impromptu. It doesn't require any setup. You can have the spectator shuffle the cards, you can have them cut the cards, whatever you want. But what you're gonna do is show that the deck is entirely face up, facing one direction. You can have the spectator check, you can fan them, you can do whatever you want. But once they've seen that all the cards are face up, now what you're gonna do is just take a few cards here and turn them upside down. Take a few more cards, turn them upside down. Whoops. And just keep kind of mixing up the orientation of the cards. Now if you have OCD, this might drive you crazy. What we have here basically is a mess. So we have some cards going face down in the deck, we have some cards coming in face up in the deck. Usually you can even see two cards that are kind of kissing each other. And that drives most people crazy with OCD. So all we need to do to fix that is just snap our fingers, and you can see every single card sorts itself out. So basically, here's all we're doing. Now what you want to do first is take a small packet of cards. It doesn't matter how many you take, but I always start with like 5 or 6. So about that many, a handful, maybe a little bit more, and you turn them over. Okay, so now what you're looking at is some of the cards are face down. So we'll start over. I'm gonna grab a couple of cards, turn them face down, grip that packet like that, and then count off a few more cards. Doesn't matter how many. And then what you're gonna do now is you have a few face down and then a few face up. You just rotate the cards once again and repeat. So basically this motion is gonna be the only thing that you need to know. So you're just gonna count off some cards and continue turning the deck like this. Now what this looks like is that you're mixing up the orientation of the cards completely. It looks like you're really creating chaos in the deck. Everything's random. It looks totally fair. Now what you're really doing though is in the action of turning the cards over and moving your wrist to rotate the cards every single time is you're actually just putting some cards face down and some cards face up on top of each other. So I'll show you what I mean by that. When you turn these cards face down, now you have face down cards on the top of the deck. When you turn these cards, you turn everything in your hand. I'm right-handed, so everything in my right hand, I turn over again. So now I have, again, face down cards on the top, face up cards on the bottom. And when I do it again, I turn everything in my hand over. So again, face down cards on the top, face up cards on the bottom, and you just repeat that throughout the entire deck. Now when you're doing this, it is important that you use patter as some verbal misdirection. And now I'm in this situation. So I have literally about half of the cards face down, and then the rest of the cards are face up. So even though it looks like I did a complete shuffle, interweaving some face up into some face down, the action of turning my wrist is actually separated face down cards on the top and face up cards on the bottom. So once you're here and you know that you have face up cards on the bottom, face down cards on the top, it will be about half. What you want to do is pick up maybe a little bit less than a quarter of the deck, and again insert some pattern. So you can see some of the cards are going face down into the deck. Then you want to go from the bottom, some of the cards are going face up into the deck. Now the important thing here is on that third time, you want to try as close as you can to cut to where the two piles separate. Usually you can do it the first time if you're using older cards. With new cards it is a little bit more difficult, but because of the natural bevel of the deck of cards, it will be pretty easy to just kind of pick up at where the two cards are facing different directions. Now you can show some cards are going face down, that's the top quarter of the deck. Some cards are going face up, that's the bottom quarter of the deck. And you can usually see somewhere in the middle where some of the cards are facing each other. Now the last thing that you need to be comfortable doing is showing some of the cards are facing each other. And then what I do is I turn my left hand this way and I just drop this packet right on top of it, which puts all the cards in a face down order. So so it'll look like that. Now I'm going to show you this again at speed and we'll talk through it. So all the cards are facing the same direction. You can see every single card in the deck is face up. So in order to mix up the order of the cards, we're just going to take a few from here. We'll turn them upside down. You know what? We'll take a few more, right? And every single time we're turning our wrist, which is keeping the orientation face up on top, or I'm sorry, face down on top of face up. So again, you're just going to kind of create the chaos until it looks like you've completely mixed up the deck in a random order. Really now at this point you can see it's face up on top of face down. Now at this point you want to show the cards like that, and when you come back you want to rotate your hands so that both packets of the deck are facing the same direction like this. So you split it, some of the cards are even facing each other, and then you come back just like this, okay? Now, if you're doing it quickly, nobody's gonna notice. And if you're using pattern and misdirection, again, nobody's gonna catch this move because it happens so quick. So some of the cards are even facing each other. You just cover it up like that, and you're done. Now the whole deck is facing the same direction. Once again, every card is face down. Well guys, thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed my review of the Shin Lim Nocs. If you're interested in picking this deck up, it is available at 52-wonders.com. Also, let me know in the comments down below if you enjoyed the tutorial. As always guys, please don't forget to like and subscribe. We are 52 Wonders. Thank you so much for watching today. Peace out.